I pray to God to continue to keep me and the Jamaica Labour Party firm and strong. I pray to God to give me the energy we need to keep Jamaica and our people firm and strong. Stand up, Labour rights. Stand up for justice. Stand up for truth. Labour rights are proud of their party.
In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. Jamaica, no bother fuss, no bother fight. We did a feel your labor right. No shaky boat because a woman we like. We did a feel your labor right. The come down green, it's a pretty and bright. We did a feel your labor right. Me love shower in a green, me baptized. We did a feel your labor right. Right now me nah worry about visa, cause we have one of the greatest leader. Me nah run way, go a foreign like Triple X and go beef crab leg out a freezer. Bout ya fit on green like Tracina. I will say no wage freeze for the teachers. We have the prettiest women like Marie Vaz and sexy Venetia. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. Oh no, see St. Thomas Urban Center, St. James Parameter. Our doctors did have to use garbage bag. Your doors, you go like you no member. No blessings that flow like river. Every bad prayer return to sender. Dr. Cole and Blair teach drop out from when PMP never buy them no denture. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory.
Good morning, Labour Roots, and good morning to all other comebacks watching this channel. Welcome to another episode of Political Hard Talk. I am your host, none other than the greatest Labourite alive. Good morning, my people. Good morning. No, we are not expecting any big massive lives for the next couple of weeks, probably into months, my people. My core audience is in Jamaica, and Jamaica is struggling right now, my people, with connectivity. Now, I was told that 80% of Westmoreland's telecommunication systems are down in Westmoreland, so it is going to take a few weeks before we are up and running. We have all kind of utility furniture all over the floor, the ground down there, my people. In every community there are light posts down, and you know they will need to replace those. I believe that JPS is prepared. They weren't in burial, but I believe that they have poles in storage and should be able to mount some kind of comeback, and hopefully they will surprise us and it will not take weeks. See, so let's roll out the morning shout outs. And before we do the shout outs, guys, some places are starting to show pictures and videos, and the situation is a lot worse than what we originally thought, my people. There are places in Jamaica with sinkholes in it. See, as things get, as things start to slow down and the internet start to come back, we are going to start to see some terrible scenes in Jamaica. I was also told that 4 persons have died in eastern Westmoreland. See, 4 persons. So we have 9, I believe, somewhere in St. Elizabeth, that side, and then a further 4. Or maybe that 4 made 9. I'm not sure. I might be misinterpreting. So let us wait and the officials. See, So let's roll out the morning shout outs and then let's get into you know the program. Arlene, big up yourself, good morning. Beverly Clark, good morning. Keishan, good morning. Mama Winsome, good morning. Caroline Clark, good morning. Lisa, big up yourself. Beverly Lewis, big up yourself. Political Lifestyle, big up yourself. And no, I have not heard from my daughter yet. It is killing me. Shanice have not heard from her son yet either. But we are keeping the faith that nothing happened to them. Parlene, James, big up yourself. Good morning. Good morning, Michelle Thousand. Yugita, good morning. Big up yourself. Aubrey, big up yourself. Father Victor, big up yourself. Father Dark Knight, big up yourself as well. Caroline, big up yourself. Good morning to my beautiful mother-in-law. Good morning, Mummy. Elverde, big up yourself. Good morning. Dahlia, good morning. Big up yourself. Who else is here? Fitzroy, big up yourself. Delian, big up yourself. Keishan, good morning. I don't remember if I call you out yet. Now there's 65 of us. See if you can get me at least to 60 thumbs up. Please. So let us go to an update from Dr. Armstrong. This is from 17 hours ago, by the way. My people. Hold on, let me find it back. I just come off it by accident. Yes.
Monty, talk to me, Dr. Chan.
Yeah, we're hit by Melissa at about category 4 5 last night. It was very bad. The wind damage and the water damage. The water damage, in fact, has been even more severe because we had the entire Barnet plain flooded. People were on roofs, but to be rescued. Some couldn't in the morning. They stepped on the roof. The road blocked. When it's banned from meets the Paribas, that is never been recorded in
the history.
In the history of Montego Bay.
Many other people in West Green and Catherine Hall. Do you know if they have been able to leave their homes yet?
No, we have getting them out. We have got them out of their homes, but they have bad damage. I mean, people 6 foot of water in some here in Catherine Hall. And it went all the way back to the fire station almost in Montego Bay. So we're in bad shape, but we're gonna pull together, clean up together, and rebuild together.
Do you think, how long you think this will take though? I mean, people are saying years. What do you
think?
The
rebuild will be faster than that. But the early phase over the next 4 weeks, the next 48 hours, 4 weeks, the airport will open by Sunday, so we can start getting in. So in fact, they should go for relief by tomorrow or the day after. And after that, commercially by Sunday, once the airport will open the roadways. Power supply will take some time. That is a problem. Therefore, we'll have to look forward to getting that up before we can accommodate visitors. But I figure we should be ready for Thanksgiving on the North Coast. The water supply will have to keep going, but the damage is severe. We have a national problem, and we're going to take some time to build out, rebuild. But again, in every crisis, opportunity. Some of the things we should have been doing, we just have to do them now. So, that is how we see it.
Thank you so much.
Damaged roadway, which we're looking at rebuilding, where we could have scheduled, we have to just use our catastrophe bond and do what we can. Almost immediately. We're going to pull together as a family, as Montegonians, as Jamaicans, as we have done before, and we're going to get this country rebuilt rapidly.
Thank you.
As it relates to St. Elizabeth, my people, Santa Cruz, the town of Santa Cruz, almost half of it, is destroyed. They're going to have to rebuild pretty much the whole town. In some cases, this might be something good. We'll get to build back properly and build up them properly this time. And But for persons who have lost their life, you know, it is a natural disaster, my people, and so, I don't know, you know, these things, it happens, you know, it happens. I am just praying that it is not too severe, because while we have lost power and connectivity, we cannot get an accurate picture as to what is going on the ground. So far, I have not heard any like major deaths in Westmoreland, to be exact. I've heard of 4 so far. You know, we have gone through hurricanes, and many times we did not take them seriously as a people. And I hope going forward we will start to take these things serious. We have learned lessons from Beryl. I am sure we'll be learning lessons from this, you know, and I just want to send my condolences to anybody that have lost a loved one. You know, it is a terrible time. All of us have lost. All of us have lost something. You know, I am trying to reach out to one of my best friends as well. I was told this morning that he lost his roof, part of his roof. I can't get contact to him. We don't know my people. Just hope that some kind of, you know, some kind of speed can go up. Again, we need to have some temporary signal boost thing we can use. See, because Jamaica is a hurricane prone area now, we need to have some kind of portable internet thing where we can just deploy to spaces, and then internet can come through. I believe we need to invest in something like that, you know, and probably there is something like that. We have, obviously there's Skylink, you know, but not everybody can afford Skylink, you know. Want to run the clip as the clip about the donations, my people. Let me just find it. So we'll continue to play this over the time as well, to see if, you know, persons want to donate.
Leads to our telcos.
That I'm very, very pleased this morning to announce the launch of our Support Jamaica website. It is supportjamaica.gov.jm. We've already been made aware of some nefarious individuals trying to collect money on behalf of Jamaica. We remind you that,
you know, I just want to say to you as well. About a year ago, Mark Golin was on a platform. Not a year ago, 2 years ago at the local government election. Mark Golin was on a platform, and Mark Golin said people are suffer, and the government for go in a NIR and give people them money. People them want money. Now you imagine that the PNP had won the election, went to the NIR, share up the money, and then 1 month later we are struck with a hurricane to this magnitude. See, Andrew Holness and his team have been saying, listen, we have to be prudent, we have to manage these things. We have to make sure that in case of any disasters, we have the resources and the funds to deal with these things. So we'll recover and give it about 12 months. We are that sturdy right now. The problem that we are going to be finding now is that going forward from here, because work are going to slow down, people can't get to go to work, it is going to affect our GDP significantly, severely, you know, and it is going to cause a technical recession, because we are going to look at weeks of no work, weeks of no school, you know. Obviously people will still trade. In this time now, you know, it is time to open back the ports and open the roads so we can have people traversing the roads, so we can get up and running as quick and as fast as possible. You know.
This will be the official site. If it doesn't have .gov.jm, it is not legitimate. It's not an official Government of Jamaica site. And so it will be supportjamaica.gov.jm, and it will be our online platform developed by the Government of Jamaica to mobilize support, to channel relief and coordinate recovery efforts in the wake of Hurricane Melissa. In it, you're going to have a donate now page where you can donate using your credit or debit cards, and you will also be able to give pledges. You also have all the information on OddPEM's bank accounts. If you want to do a bank transfer, you can do so there. A new innovation on that site is that you will be able to give updates on emergencies. So if there's an issue that you see in your area, you want to upload a picture, maybe there is flooding, maybe there is a town that has been cut off, you can actually notify us through that website also. It also has an interactive shelter locator for those who may need it. Even if you have to help someone to find a shelter, please use it. It will give you all the shelters that are near you. You can actually put in what parish you're in. They are on that site, supportjamaica.gov.jm. And so it is all about mobilizing resources. So it's a resource for...
And guys, please, when I hear me, tell me if you not hear me or not see me, by the way. If you are in an area where the path and the road is blocked, get a couple of dogs them in the community, get 2 machete, start clean up no man a few place in there we live, you know. We can't wait for the government to come do everything. Start to clean up, chop up a tree them, put them one side, get the road open, because if there's any emergency, if anybody's sick and we need to get people out, you know, we can't just rely upon government to come do everything. So if you live in an area you want chainsaw or power saw, what we call it, and you look for gas, you know, if everybody can put $100 and buy one jug of gas and we just walk through people's yard and cut down a tree them. See? So let me we do that. You know, and please stay away from the power lines as well. You know, if persons don't come in there and mark safe, do not interfere with them and keep the children them away from it. See? Me need to hear from my daughter. You know, because it give me restless night and I can't eat. You know, so me need to hear if my daughter okay. You know, all those who watch TV, J News would see that already. We don't really too follow up TV, J News, you know, and anything if you do with RJR, you know, we don't too follow up them thing there because them are heathen. You know, them they are against the growth of Jamaica. Alright, now I'm not ask if them probably
Monty, talk to me, Dr. Chan.
Yeah.
them probably even happy say
Talk to me, Dr. Chan.
probably even happy say this happening, you know. You know, me kinda go through something with people. So we are go play some video. We hear what go on. And the Prime Minister was in Black River yesterday. You know.
Clearly, we've suffered a devastating blow here in southwest St. Elizabeth, especially with the town of Black River. I would say over 90% of the houses have suffered infrastructural damage. The entire town has been almost completely wiped out by Hurricane Melissa. Especially a number of our historic buildings, access into the is non-existent at the moment because of a number of down power lines and trees. This is also the case in a number of our communities in and around Black communities like Treasure Beach, Big Woods, Mountainside, Barbary Hall. all the way over to Five Spen, Middle Quarters, Lancewood. There's a lack of connectivity, lack of electricity, and significant infrastructure damage. So thankfully the PM and the team are on the ground to coordinate the relief and recovery. And we know it will take some time, so I want to say to everybody, just rest assured that we will do our utmost to get to you as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Minister. SSP.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We have been here with the Mayor as part of the Parish Command team. Currently, sir, we have 4 reports of deaths. 2 bodies were found this morning floating in the Black River area, and the other 2 bodies in the Gallant Beach area. We are continuing to support the recovery efforts and to ensure the safety as best as possible, particularly ensuring that the major corridors are clear. So the JCF is providing that support to the various stakeholders, the JPS, the utility persons, the telecommunications persons, to ensure their safety as they go through to ensure that this area is restored as soon as possible.
Mr. Mayor.
Well, at this current point, we were devastated, and one of the serious concerns that we are experiencing now, our relief supplies would have been totally wiped out. The container that we had stored with supplies to help out now would have been totally gone. Our building structure would have been hosting our supplies totally wiped out. So at this point in time, we're appealing for some relief supplies to assist. We would have had up to 16 feet of water at our command center during the passage of Melissa. As a result, all our vehicles are immobile. So at this current time, it's unable for us to respond. JCF would have been facing the same challenges just as us at the command center. Even at the hospital, the ambulance system transportation is totally down. So at this point in time, we are in need of some mobility so that we can do proper assessment. The next phase that we are going to be moving into is to activate our humanitarian committee so that we can do a proper assessment. But as you can appreciate, it will be very difficult considering the roadways that are impassable at this time. But nonetheless, we would have activated our system where we had contractors on standby, and I'm happy to report that so far 3 backhoes and trucks have been here trying to assist with the clearing of some of these roads. CEO Grant would have reached out to me earlier this morning. The team is responding well. They would have reached out to find out where are the critical areas. So they are out deployed. We are focusing on the critical services. Just so everybody know, all the critical agencies in Black River, they are totally destroyed. So we pray for patience. We are all one, and at this point in time, we are going to do our best to respond positively. But I say we pray for your patience and understanding at this point in time.
I flew over the south coast of St. Elizabeth into Black River, and from Treasure Beach to this point, we could easily say that between 80 to 90% of roofs have been destroyed. A significant number of buildings were damaged.
Black River is in a really bad way, my people. I'm telling you, really bad. All of the road them destroy. All of the road them have to go properly paved over. Build back, they have to be dumped, filled in. Billions of dollars it going to take for Black River alone. Billions of dollars it going to take for Westmoreland alone. I tell you.
On the ground, the impact is even more palpable. Right now, we are standing in close proximity to the Black River Hospital, and that has been totally destroyed, along with several other buildings, including historic buildings, churches, courthouse, the parish council, and other all the heritage buildings have been destroyed. The electricity grid of Black River is totally wiped out. Telecommunications, we have seen 1 tower damaged. We are not certain if the other one is operable. So the entire infrastructure and everything needed for the convenience of modern living is destroyed here in Black River. The people are still coming to grips with the destruction, but from what I've seen and the interaction, the people here are strong, resilient, and positive in outlook. The government intends to complement that with bringing in the necessary emergency relief. The first line of effort in this regard is to clear the roadways to allow for vehicular traffic, not just to allow people to come in and visit relatives that they can't get in contact with, but to bring in much needed supplies to the supermarkets and the other supply centers which are now empty. So once we get that accomplished, then we will start to see, on top of that, more assistance coming in, including assistance from ODPEM and other relief agencies who I'm certain are already mobilized waiting to come. It is going to be a massive task to rebuild Black River, this historic town. But while it is destroyed, we can vision a future of it rising stronger and better. Because the truth is that many of the buildings were not properly located. They were in vulnerable areas. We will now take the opportunity to properly reorganize the town and to build back even stronger. So yes, we got a big blow. Black River is what you would describe as ground zero. It took the brunt of it, and the corridor through the south of St. Elizabeth, through Black River, going across the island, going into St. James, that corridor was totally damaged. But the recovery is not beyond us. It's not beyond the government. It's not beyond the people, and we will get it done. So keep the positive outlook, keep hope alive, and we will get through this, and we will rebuild better.
And guys, we have to exercise some patience. We have to understand, say, it cannot happen overnight. Just thank God, say we are alive. We still got life. Some people are going to mourn losses. Majority of us still have our family. We made it through, we survived. Condolence to who lost theirs. The rest of us, we must thank God, and we are going to rebuild our nation. I heard on the UK news that, they have given us $528 million Jamaican. I believe that they could have given more. However, we are thankful to them for it. They are also mobilizing aid. They are going to move into the space. They have agencies here in the UK, or they are dispatching agencies from other places in the world that will be making their way to Jamaica to help with the humanitarian effort down there in Jamaica. Let's see if we have...
Never strong man, maybe me that go crazy when told. It may faith. Never strong man, maybe me that go crazy when told this hurricane will be here.
I mean, what is your name, sir? And we're in Mandeville. Are you
name is Lafayette Johnson. Don't touch it. I love Grace Fire.
And where are you from?
Same place. I live right over there.
Okay.
Main Street.
And tell me, what was your experience like in the storm?
Terrible. The turn experience. And this is the world ever passed through. This is a girl that really knows, when me say him no ordinary, extraordinary girl, this a pass through the place, rip up everything. See all the pear tree, every limb tear off of it. But I think we can't video and show you the house top if you could have go down more where you can.
Yeah man, we're going to look on the house top. Tell me, what kind of damage did Hurricane Melissa do to your property?
Every kind of rip up, take off the rooftop, whip up place over there, right home in my house, flood out yesterday. When we said the drop, rolling cold drop on the house top, versus zinc, and put up buckets of water and sweep out of the place. Right now water lay down on the floor inside, but I just look it. I said, I have to come out.
Also, I see the people them in St. Elizabeth, in Kingston. Now that I said that, Michelle, I saw some persons in Kingston who are partying and they're gallivanting in the streets and carrying on, while persons on the other end of the island is in complete and utter destruction, total annihilation on the other end of the island. You know, have some humanity, you know. Have some sense of decency, you know. Have the sensibility to understand the sensitive nature of what is going on the other end of the island. People are absolutely desperate. Persons should be lining up now to see if they can hitch a ride down that way to see how they can aid with or how they can treat with the situation that is going on the other end of the island. Our people, we are not focused on the right things. A lot of time with people them seems to just, you know, celebrate some things that is not right, my people. It is not right. Why?
Look to see what happened now. The disaster will happen.
So how did you manage? It must have been very scary for you, no?
God, sometimes I tell you, friend, about faith. One of my friends was there with me. A good thing he come where he could have helped me out. Scary. Really scary.
And what did you do to prepare for the storm
No,
before
well,
it comes?
prepare, you know, where we just decided to stay in. Not out from. It's dangerous. Even if you look outside, it was so dangerous.
How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 68.
You're 68.
Yeah.
You said this is the worst time you ever seen.
The worst one. Gilbert was my first experience.
And this doesn't compare to Gilbert?
No, this cannot compare to Gilbert. It can't compare to Ivan. Beryl wasn't even so bad like it. But these are the worst hurricane we could have ever experienced. You can take off piece of it.
As the picture become more clear on my people, you know, it is complete and total annihilation. Persons lose property. There are manholes, house sink in a hole, house drop off a gully bank, house drop in a river. People lose their vehicle. You know, I am even concerned that, you know, in some cases we'll start to find a lot of bodies. We are hoping not, but, you know, there is that concern, my people. But, you know, we will eventually build back. See Ocherius main road, people. Black.
A lot of roofs up. A lot now. Why? Next 2 weeks maybe very.
How do you compare this damage with St. Bess?
No. St. Bess is a St. Bess Montego Bay, Westmoreland. I haven't gotten reports from Hanover yet. But is the equivalent of a meteorological nuclear bomb. This is the equivalent of hurricane damage. We have hurricane damage, which is significant here. We have very weak housing stock in areas like Windsor, so the damage is particularly bad. But no man, what took place in St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, I'd imagine Hanover, even though I haven't had those reports yet, and in St. James, meteorological nuclear bomb. Nothing else describes it. And we have a long way to recover. But the problem is that other parts of the island also experienced hurricane force winds. So Clarendon in the hills, what I'm seeing is devastating. Places like Ainan Town are in bad shape. Cave Valley in St. and complete flooding. The waters haven't subsided yet. I get in reports to try like a scary from Discover Bay and Runaway Bay side. But they would have gotten category 2, category 3 winds, but it's not 5, but it is damage that normally you would focus very heavily on. It's just, you know, you don't want a ranking of misery. And that's what this can become if you're not careful. So we have a lot of damage. they have complete damage. Doesn't mean a lot of damage don't need attention to in the way that their complete damage does. But, you know, obviously our heart goes out to the people in St. Louis and Westmoreland and Mobile. Because you wouldn't even have the blacks here based on what's happening in St. Louis. It's just unlike anything that I've ever seen. Sure.
Imagine a hurricane come and tear down all wall building. Wall it tear down, you know. Lift up all steel gate. Where breeze can go through a gate, you know, lift up a gate, see me and dash through a gate, you know. That is the first wind that we had in Jamaica, you know. Complete annihilation in Westmoreland, and I am sure we have not seen the half of it, my people. Because as the days go by and signals slowly restore, we're going to start to see a lot more damage. I was told of a case this morning where somebody in eastern Westmoreland is marooned. Her mother died, you know, and I was told that she had to put her mother, she have a Delco, so she put her mother in the fridge in her home and is running the fridge with a Delco plant, you know. So things is really bad, really bad, my people. Yes, the Manning School building, that could not have survived it. If it had tear down, concrete, the Manning School building could not have survived. However, here Manning School have an opportunity to build back that, hold on, may I get a knock on my door, my people. Give me a second. Yeah, my people, sorry about that. You know, so what they can do at Manning's is use this opportunity. And by the way, Manning School have been completely decimated. Manning School won't open back for months now, my people, because Manning School in its entirety is destroyed. I don't believe that there's any blocks except for probably the block to the far side of the field that has deck top. But all of Manning School that have zinc top or whatever it was used, whatever they used to do the top of it, is gone, my people. You know, Stets, exactly, Stets mash up as well. And Manning School was a shelter, you know, my people, it was a shelter. So we don't know what happened there. I have not got a report that Godfrey Stewart, which was a shelter, got damaged. I did not get any reports of that. I believe South Primary might have been a shelter as well. There's no report of that either, but the picture is not clear on the ground yet because signal has not been restored, my people. So we are get out some people, we have Starlink, we are get out some liquor reports as it relates to that. I am trying to find McNeil land. You know, I have a cousin that lives in America and she want to know what is going on. You know, so I am trying. There. Look on this. There's a hole in the road, you know, my people. The whole entire road near me, you know. Look there. That is the road, you know. The storm ate out the road, you know. Mighty God of Daniel. There's even a housing scheme that many homes got flooded out, my people. Many homes, many people lost their homes, lost property.
Carly and Willet open the interval. Carly and Willet. No, this water dry, but the house and the water same way. I am a resident of Sylvester Drive, 76. For the past 30-40 years, they are saying the water. But at the first, I see the water draw so fast. But government do them work, and I feel like it a work, but them not complete as yet. But I want error me have. You see this channel? This channel there. Yeah. Water lead round here constant. I meet at the foot of the hill with my mother, my father, my sister, my brother and I will for animal. And then open the interval thoroughly and will it. Now, this water draw out the house and the water same way. If this never well around here, it could have regularized as before citizens used to do it. Turn it down the volume of water. When round at the house, them the water subside, then turn it on back and make it drain off. But since 2-3 years, them come and well it. And they really talk about no politics, but me see them well it. And I saw it stays. So the keys them when citizens them have no longer in no use, no service, no use to nobody. Because right now I can go in my house and show you one. It can't pull and it can't turn because it has been well over the years. So as me say, I'm glad for you water we draft still, but we, my mother, my family, and the neighbor in front of me still underwater because there's a sea ball around here with this water channel.
A person, Ville, Bethel town has completely been obliterated, desecrated. Bethel town is completely demolished in Bethel town. I've seen pictures of Bethel town and Bethel town has completely been obliterated. You know, the entire Westmoreland have to go build back. You know, I guess in some cases this might even be a good thing because, you know, we'll have to start out the rebuilding of the town. Now, it will take years. You will start out the rebuilding of the parish. It will take years, but we have to start from somewhere. You know, problem that we face now, we must get on with this and hurry up because next year, hurricane season again, potentially Jamaica can be hit with another hurricane again. And they are going to get even stronger and more powerful. Now, can we sustain something like this every year? No. So something has to be done, my people. You know, we probably have to start building house them out of pure steel. And Jamaica hot, we're going to burn up. You know?
They remedy that then?
Well, as me said, them have a project that go on and it not finish yet. The project just start straight. So, the van, the car, them can utilize the road now quicker than before, nah lie. Because the water suck, but round is still under danger. Because the house, them, the water now come out of the house, them where they right at the sea ball. That's where we could have started. We could start some cleaning process. So for now, let's stand and look and see what's going on. Because
How long did it normally take, you know, before they started digging out or widening the pond for the water to draw?
them start couple, like 2 years back, them say phase 1, and then they restarted about couple months back. But in one place, them do round here, so, out here, so, around there, so. But them a work.
Yeah.
But not like them a work, but through the constant rain, the excavator them can't go in at the pond or the truck. Nah, but to be honest, at first, you see water draw so fast.
Yes.
So how long water now might take to draw?
Like 1 week, week hard, 1 week.
Only.
But see around there, sir, it draw quicker than here, sir. But through them turn on the interval and well it, the water have to suck off out here so first before around there, sir.
So yeah, so that is completely submerged, my people. Look, this here from 10 hours ago. Look on this. That's from 10 hours ago, you know. That is the volume of water, my people.
Son, careful.
Now, when they water they draw, we probably find say some people get washed away and them a try to cross some if they escape from where they did there. You know? So hopefully not my people, but rough Jamaica. Rough.
And I said, Lord, where is my soul? But in the dream I see a lady said to me, say, hold up your head. And when I look and see a stall frame back. My stall has been washed away by Melissa. But before the stall had washed away, I get a vision that I was carrying two ladies to the stall. And when I look, I don't see no stall. And I said, Lord, where is my stall? But in the dream, I see a lady said to me, say, hold up your head. And when I look, I see a stall frame back. And when I get the dream, I pray over it. But you know, before the stall has been washed away, the Lord has shown me. And it washed away last night, and here is the frame. This is the frame.
Sandra, you said that you think the storm was sent by God, but many Jamaicans are contending that this is a man-made storm.
Well, it has sent by God because there is so many wickedness in this world. And many don't believe in the Father. And many don't believe that He's real. And many don't believe in His miracle. So when God comes to His island, He comes to clean and wash it for mankind to realize that He is real and He is the power. No scientist, no obvious, no one cannot send out God miracle. So when you see things like this happen, God is sending a warning on the island. For all who don't believe, all the corruption, all the death, all the murderer, everyone is telling the challenge. Because time gonna come when there gonna be no storm. There gonna be a scenario with us taking and we just vanish away. So if you see this sign and you don't want to change, there's gonna be something. And when He clean His land, you cannot go and mess up His land again. I live all over there to the shelter because I surrounded by the sea and I know the sea was going to come in. So I live in faith because before I go, I cover my house, I cover my stall. But remember that I get a vision that the stall was going to move.
How about the house? Your house is in good condition?
Yes, the house is in good condition. Only the land has been under the sea. But sometimes God has to send His water on the land to wash anything that is not to be on the land. So I'm glad that the sea water has come on the land. Because listen, working with God, you have to believe that He is the power. He has created us in His image. And we mankind have to change. And without no changes, no storm gonna be stopped. Without no changes, nothing gonna end.
Sandra, did anybody in Old Harbor Bay get hurt?
Well, many places have been destroyed, like the shed where the guys them sell on and scrape and the sea have been coming. And 3 have been dropped and the seawater come in the house. You understand me? Because the seawater come in my house and the water furniture have been wet. But listen to me. When you're dealing with God, you don't think about vanity. You don't think about what have been happening. You think about life. Because anything you lose, you can gain it back.
What would be your encouragement to those in St. Elizabeth and those areas that were affected most by Hurricane Melissa?
You have to turn to God and be baptized and know that He is real and He is the one that creates us. Because without Him, there is no tomorrow.
So let me just say, guys, there is a schedule going around saying JPS will be fixing certain areas on that time and that date. That is fake. That is not real. The JPS have not given any timeline or any dates to fix anywhere. From my understanding, persons was on the ground yesterday in Westmoreland looking at the damage, assessing the damage. Persons will be out today looking at the damage, assessing the damage, and 80% of the infrastructure, meaning power wires, light posts, there is light poles down in every single section of Westmoreland. So they'll have to replace those. Certain places wires have been displaced as well. They'll have to replace those. It will take a while, my people, but I am confident that JPS have done something better to treat with this time that in burial. I am hoping so, my people. We are yet to see, but I am hoping they had the proper preparations, knowing that the storm was coming, and I hope they had trained more staff, because last time we had to send to get persons from other countries to come in and to help us. So I am hoping that they have adjusted and they are ready to get the country up and running, because the quicker the country can get up and running is the quicker we kickstart the economy. That is very important. If we make that lag, the progress and the growth of our nation is going to lag with it. See? So that is very critical, my people. So we must do something immediately to get that quick and well, that's a true still. That's a true. I look for one more video to play for you.
And when I go out there now and they pass me the key, the grill still wouldn't open, refused to open.
So by that time, where was the water?
Way up.
Way up under your breast?
Finally open, and I stepped out. Girl, when I stepped out, it's up here, so there, right under my breast.
What happened here?
After the winds and everything, and that's the water coming. Finally,
you hear that, the lady? Wait till the water reach her breast before she go out. So, no surprise if we find more bodies, because persons waited until then before they go out. And see, some of we can't get our relative, then we can't. But I not even want to put nothing out there in a atmosphere, but just saying, persons saw the water coming in and they did not leave until water was at their breast. You know? So what if you go out and you tap in a hole? Mighty God. I want thing with few people, them there is hard, it's tough.
turn the lock again and it open. And when I go out there now, ask me the key, the grill still wouldn't open, refused to open.
So by that time, where was the water?
Way up.
Way up under your breast?
Finally open, and I stepped out. Girl, when I stepped out, it's up here, so there, right under my breast.
What happened here?
After the winds and everything, and that's the water coming from the windows and so on, that was clean water. Then we went outside to look, and I noticed that the water was coming from outside, like outside the community, floating down.
Oh, so the water was coming from
that direction, from out by the roundabout, flowing down. And I noticed objects in the water, and I noticed how very dirty it was. So I said, June, you see what happened? And I said, June, we tell us they should put the bus on the sidewalk. She said, no, it don't make no difference. And when we look, we see other people looking at it. And then we notice it take time to creep up. It is slowly coming up. So I said, but it look like it didn't reach in the yard. And by the time I said that, the sea begin to reach. And then the next thing we know, it's on the veranda. Next thing we know, it is inside the house, back and front now. And
this is in St. James, by the way, my people.
it's round to the back and everything. And it moved fast, you know?
Very fast?
Very fast. Because by the time you do anything at all, and then the sad part now is, I shut the door because I said,
so we probably have to go embark on a canal building, build out of canals. In the UK or in London, every part of London you go, that you know you have a river or whatever, you have canals. See, where you can take boats up the canals, canoes and stuff, but they build them there as drains, so in case of heavy rains and floodings, you know, the water go into the canal and go to the river. So you have, say, the River Thames have thousands and thousands of canals all over London, and it is like a network, a channel where they join and it all take the water back to the River Thames. See, also we have something in the River Thames at the head of the sea, at the mouth of the sea in London, called the Thames Barrier. You know, it stops London from flooding. So if water get too much, one automatic barrier just close in the sea. You know, where sea meet the river, it just close there and block the water from coming into London. See? So, me not say we have the money to do that right now, but we must start to look into things like those. You know, one day we will get there. We can start the build out of canals. Let's build back the gullies. So the gully is basically a canal. Just build back the gullies, widen them in parts where we can widen them, build the walls a bit taller. We must get people to stop disposing of garbage in them, and we must try to link them as much as possible where we can. See? We have to start there, look at thing there now. And the municipal corporations, they have a vital role in getting people to stop dumping stuff in there. Canals, I believe, gullies are government responsible for gullies. So MPs are responsible for gullies, not the municipal corporation. See? MPs are responsible for gullies, but the normal regular drains, councillors are responsible for those, and the mayor. See?
Finally, June 30th, everything. And
Let me see if I find my video. I walk one because some terrible things take place in my people. Oh God. I remember see if there's any update from the Prime Minister between last night and now. I have seen the opposition leader, my people, in his constituency doing some work. So we don't want to tell no lie upon him. We see him going with two things in his constituency. See?
Jamaica's Minister of Labour and Social Security. He joins us now. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, just an overview of what's happening. Well, you're in Kingston, but what you understand is happening in more vulnerable parts of the island.
Based on what information that we've received and the pictures and the updates from the network that we have across the country, it is very clear that in the wake of Melissa, we will see widespread destruction to a lot of our infrastructure. We don't yet have full information if there's any loss of life, but I have not received any such information up to this point, which is extremely good. To the west, which is St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James, Hanover, it's been very difficult to getting in touch with the persons and the team members that are there. Connectivity has been terrible, but we do know based on information that is where we receive the brunt of the intense winds and damage. So our focus now is to move into the next gear, which is to coordinate the relief and the partnerships across the country and across the world to get support into Jamaica, and then to move towards relief and recovery to ensure that as best as possible we can restore access, restore connectivity, deliver supplies, and give support to the vulnerable families, particularly those who will not have a home to return to tonight.
So you did say that you're having trouble getting communication from some parts of the island. Would you say that there's areas that are currently just cut off that you can't get in contact with?
For sure. We've been trying to get in touch with our own office in Westmoreland, and there's been no return thus far. Actually, a team out to make sure that we can confirm that they are okay. I believe that they are okay, but that is just the difficulty is one in terms of connectivity. And right now, the ODPEM is working and coordinating with the Jamaica Defence Force to make sure that all those areas that are cut off, of which there are some, that as quickly as possible, they move to remove those barriers so that we can get support.
Colonel Charles Jr.
The vulnerable families, particularly those who will not have a home to return to tonight.
So you did say that you're having trouble getting communication from some parts of the island. Would you say that there's
that as quickly as possible, they move to remove those barriers so that we can get support to those family members that are in the shelters there or in the homes that are perhaps in areas that have been cut off.
And so you did mention, and your Prime Minister has said it as well, on the world to help with the recovery efforts. What kind of help do you think you're going to need when the full scale of the impact of Melissa will become clear?
So we've set up a focused humanitarian relief mechanism where you can go on our Prime Minister's page and it will show you exactly how to give support. And that support will be in terms of the food supplies, the resources, the equipment, everything that will be required for us to be able to restore and to sustain. There are going to be places where persons will be in shelters for an extended period, perhaps. So they will need as much support as possible to make sure that they can sustain life until we're able to get them back to normalcy in their communities.
Colonel Charles Jr., Jamaica of Labour and Social Security. He joins us now. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, just an overview of what's happening. Well, you're in Kingston, but what you understand is happening in more vulnerable parts of the island.
Based on what?
Colonel.
You're rough, my people. You're rough. Jamaica is in a really bad way, my people. Really, really bad. Yeah. Really, really bad.
Is the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness. We spoke with him last night. What a day it has been. Certainly, Prime Minister, thank you. What are you hearing about the impact of the storm? What kind of reports of damage are you getting?
Well, just as you have heard from your previous two guests, that the corridor of impact would have been in the southwestern end of the island, St. Elizabeth, parts of Manchester, parts of Westmoreland, and then heading to the northwestern end of the island, St. James, Hanover, and parts of Trelawney. It is clear that wherever the eye of the hurricane hit, there would be devastating impacts. And the reports that we have had so far would include damage to hospitals, significant damage to residential property, housing, and commercial property as well, and damage to our road infrastructure. But I think that, we have mounted a very credible and strong preparation and recovery strategy, and that will help us to ensure that our citizens who may now be facing hardship, they can have confidence that the government will be able to reach them immediately after the storm is passed.
Yeah, I mean, when do you anticipate you would be able to get rescue repair crews, electricity restored to some of the hardest hit parts of the island?
Well, in the eastern end of the island, we should be able to start the recovery process immediately. So tomorrow onwards, we should be able to restore electricity, telecommunications. In the southern end of the island, that may take of my cabinet. All the ministers are mobilized. We have put the necessary measures in place. So tomorrow, the effort to clear roads, to ensure that there is island-wide connectivity, to return electricity, and to deal with the humanitarian issues that may occur, the need for food, medicine, and temporary shelter. All of those will be mobilized tomorrow.
There were some reports of fatalities as people prepared for this, cutting down trees and injuries. Have you gotten any reports of fatalities during the storm?
Well, as best as we would have tried and we would have informed citizens, I'm certain that there would be eventualities and situations. But as of now, I don't have any confirmed reports of with a Category 5 hurricane, with the damage.
Is the Prime Minister.
Good morning, Sonia Turner. Good morning. So for persons who can't get to their family members in Westmoreland, I spoke to several persons between last night and this morning. Couple people have Starlink connectivity, and they are not saying to me that they have heard of any deaths, especially in central Westmoreland. However, You know, because the system is down. They themselves might not know of it. You know, so I can't give you no definitive answers as it relates to that. But we are hoping for the best. For persons who was not here, I was told that 4 persons died in eastern Westmoreland. Like I said, haven't heard of any in Central, haven't heard of any in Western. But the road from Savlamar headed into Western, from going into Frome from Grangeville, I was told that that part of the road is blocked. They were trying to clear it yesterday. There was 1 lane of traffic going from Big Bridge heading towards Negril because parts of that road have flooded as well. You know, so we just have to give it a little time, people. We will recover better and stronger, trust me, and we will rebuild. You know, hopefully we never experience a size like this for the next 10-20 years at least. You know, let us ever again. You know, but the evidence points to seismic events like this happening on a regular basis because, you know, global warming. Donald Trump, I heard him at the United Nations in a couple of days, a couple of months ago, or probably a month ago, saying that he did not believe in climate change and they were going to burn coal and all of these things, and others should follow suit. You know, all of these things contribute to what we are seeing happening now. You know, and Jamaica is in the part of these monsters. You know, and if something like this was to happen on a yearly basis, we can't sustain that as a nation. We will continue to suffer. We will continue to be a poor nation. You know, somebody need to invent something that would just fire in the hurricane cloud and it just dissipate. You know, we have to go come up with something like that. You know, we don't know, but it is rough, my people. It is rough, and we are struggling right now as a nation. But we will overcome. We shall overcome, my people. You know. But anyway, I am going to leave you guys at this juncture. I will see you guys evening. Hopefully, by this evening, some persons will have data and they'll be able to join us later on. And guys, thank you guys very much for the support that you guys have been giving me over the time. You know, I really appreciate, you know, all of the love and support that you guys have been pouring out to me over the last, especially year. You know, I much appreciate it. And in a time like this, you know, we have to band together now. When I see one PNP come and ask me if me still a come fire gun for Andrew. At no point in time did I say that. You know, it was taken out of context, and I am not arguing with any PNP this morning. It is, although I do blame the PNP for a lot of things that went bad in our country, it is not a time for us to be warring against each other. It is time for us to band together now to rebuild our country, and once it is rebuilt, we can go back to the regular fighting for leadership of the nation. We are calling on all Bucky Swamps, who you guys would have known I have absolutely not one iota of respect for. I do not like that man. See, but nonetheless, I am calling on him as a Jamaican. You know, the Prime Minister had said having a Jamaica birth paper does not make you a Jamaican, and it is evident. Mark Golden gallivanting saying that he's a Jamaican or he has a Jamaican birth certificate. He's not behaving very Jamaican right now. See? And he needs to come on board. He needs to be at all of the meetings with the Prime Minister, walking, you know, side and side with the Prime Minister to show his people that he can be a leader for them as well. And Jamaica is for all of us. We all benefit when Jamaica stands together. You know? So I will soon this evening. I am off today, so I'll be here at the regular 6 o'clock time this evening. So I'll start. I don't know why I'm start at 7. Well, tell me what I'm going. I know I'm start at 7 instead. You know, and Big up in Lisa. You know. John Fabs, good morning, big up yourself. You know, I am going to go. Alright, 6 mama win some say. So we'll be on at 6. You know. Boy, shut your mouth. Don't stop. Don't stop the eyes, shut your mouth. If you don't know what you talk about, shut your mouth. You're an idiot. That is that a proper sentence Winbert read. I think you might find that you need to go back to English lessons, and then maybe you and a conversation. So we'll be taking calls this evening, my people. Wilbert, I can call in a little more, and I will tell you how to, you know, to properly format that sentence that you just tried, or that sentence that you just tried to, you know. Yeah. But let us not get disrespectful right now. You know, I am normally very aggressive, and here I am, you know, trying to come down a notch and trying to, you know, sympathize with the PNP and ask them to join us to rebuild our country. And not even that. Not even that. Me know what you talk about because I am capable of knowing, but somebody that wouldn't be, you know, Winbert, you know, and a name like Winbert, you know, tells me that you're an elder. And if that is your behavior, it is very unbecoming. You're an absolute disgrace this morning, Winbert. You know? Yes. Anyway, big up on yourself, Winbert. Make certain I see a little more. We'll send in a number and you can call in later. And we can hold a reason. See? Like big people. Now get away from here, you shocking animal. Anyway, big up on yourself, my people. I will soon look more. See? Surely, boys.